Well, this is Phil Heimlich. I'm a conservative Republican with libertarian leanings, and I am a follower of Christ. This podcast is called The Radical Middle. There's a very interesting case. It just went before the Supreme Court. I want to tell you about. The case is called Mahmoud versus Taylor, and the issue is whether public schools should require young children to read books that affirm the gay lifestyle. In this case, there's a group of religious parents that are suing the school district in Maryland that requires their kids who are in elementary school to read and discuss books with gay characters. For example, there's one called Uncle Bobby's Wedding, where this little girl named Chloe is upset that her uncle is getting married because she's afraid the uncle won't spend as much time with her. Well, it happens that Uncle Bobby is marrying a man, which apparently doesn't concern Chloe. The story ends with Chloe being happy because she now has two uncles instead of one. Now, it's true the book doesn't support directly gay marriage, but it clearly normalizes the gay lifestyle. The parents' argument is that since their religious beliefs are strongly opposed to gay marriage, that requiring their children to read books with gay characters violates their freedom of religion. Now, I'll be honest, I think this argument is a bit of a stretch because there are all sorts of religions with all sorts of beliefs. Let's say I'm a member of some religious group that believes eating meat is a terrible sin. Does that mean that every time my kid's class reads a story about somebody cutting into a steak, that my religious freedom is violated? Just so you know, I don't think young children should be required to read these kind of books, and I would have strongly opposed it if my kids were forced to read this kind of stuff in the third or fourth grade. But that doesn't mean there's a violation of the First Amendment. The bottom line, as far as I'm concerned, is that this issue should be fought out at the local level, not before the Supreme Court, because every issue is not a constitutional issue. The choice of school books should be debated before local school boards, not the Supreme Court. We have a right to show up at school board meetings to voice our opinion, and if we don't like the board's decision, we can vote out members of the board and vote in others. In other words, as the expression goes, don't make a federal case out of it. I'm Phil Heimlich, and this is The Radical Middle.